If you're looking to drive more sales for your business, in this video, I'm going to share how you can do that by driving more new sales and also generating more sales from your existing clients and past clients. Enjoy. If you're asking about how to get more sales for your business, I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption that what you really want is more revenues. So I'm going to share with you 5 different ways to generate more revenues in your business, including how to get more sales. The problem that I see when people say that they want more sales is that they often get really stuck focusing on new business and finding new clients. Now that's only one way of generating more sales, and it's often the hardest way to generate more sales. So the solution to this is having a mix of different efforts that you're doing, one of which is definitely focused, or some of which focused on generating new business, but others that are focused on other ways to generate revenues and opportunities. So the first way is obviously to generate more leads. And what that looks like is having more, in my world, inbound business. I'm not a big fan of doing a lot of outreach and cold calling and things like that that require a lot of energy. What I prefer is to put myself out there with a content and thought leadership and have the leads come to me. So what that looks like in my business and what that could look like in yours is branding yourself as a thought leader, personal branding. And I have tons of videos on personal branding. In fact, I have a whole playlist on thought leadership and personal branding that I invite you and encourage you to check out. But when I'm talking about generating new leads, there are certain specific ways that I found work really well and are very energy rich. One of them is to do speaking engagements. Speaking engagements for me have been one of the absolute #1 best ways to generate new business. And what I found is that in the beginning of loving to do speaking engagements and recognizing its power, people weren't putting me on their stages. And so what I did was I learned how to create my own stages. I created my own events, live in person, and then later, and more recently, virtual events like webinars and telesummits and things like that. Another way that really works to generate new business and bring in what we call cold leads from the market is to put out content like these videos that I do on YouTube. This is one of the #1 ways that we generate new business opportunities. So what you'll notice about the way that I bring in new business and what you could potentially do as well is to have a lot of different things out in the world, videos, blog posts, speaking engagements, webinars, telesummits, right? Putting all these things out there and then capturing the new people, i.e. getting them to opt into a list so that they're yours. Now they're in your universe, in your world. And then from there, nurture that list over time. And what I found that works really well with that is that people will pop up 3 months, 6 months, 3 years later. They'll say, oh, I've been on your mailing list for a long time and I just knew it wasn't the time, but now the time is right. Now I need your services. I'm a big fan of pulling people into your world and then cultivating the relationship one-to-many, right? Through email marketing, podcasting, blog posting, speaking, webinars, seminars, and just giving a lot of value out into the world and then trusting that people, when they're ready, you'll be the person that's top of mind for them. Another thing that I want to bring into this is as you're looking to generate new business, don't forget past clients. There's research that shows that it takes a lot more energy and time and effort and money to get a new person into your world and to get a new client than it is to reactivate someone who's already there, an old client, a past client, somebody that you've known already for a while. I did a podcast interview with Mark LeBlanc that was all about this topic. So if you want to go check that out, you can find that at thesuperstarpodcast.com, Mark LeBlanc. And what he talks about is ways to activate existing relationships, right? Creating outreach campaigns just for people that know you and love you and have already invested in you. And reactivating those people can be a much faster path to generating more sales and more revenues. Now that we've covered the most obvious way to generate new business, generating new sales and more sales, there's another piece to the mix that wouldn't require you to get any more new people in the door, but would raise your sales amount. And that is by raising your conversion rate. Your conversion rate is the number of people who are interested in what you do and who are actual prospects who actually turn around and buy. It's the ratio between the person that comes in the door and the person that converts into a sale. One of the best ways to increase your conversion rate is to change your sales process and to really look at how you can turn your sales process into a service of its own. So what that means is, instead of thinking of your sales process as just a way to get people to buy stuff, instead think of your sales process as a way to add value to the person who's thinking of working with you. When you add value inside of the sales process, such that the process itself generates value for people, you create a lot more trust and likelihood that someone will convert into the next level. So one of the ways that I do that is with a process that I call sales as service. And what that looks like in my world, because I sell coaching services and personal and business transformation, what that looks like is that I have a conversation structure, a framework for sales, whereby in the conversation itself, I help someone gain clarity about what they need to do next. And I help lead them to an empowered decision about taking that next step. Now, sometimes that next step is to work with me. And that's when it's a perfect fit client and I'm excited to work with them and I know I can help them. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes the empowered decision is to give them something else to go do. So whether they work with me or not, they're going to walk away from that meeting with value. And that helps increase my conversion rate. And it also helps to increase my referral rate. One of the number one ways that I generate referrals is from people that I didn't sell to, but that I served in that conversation and felt so served and so supported, even though they didn't buy, that they went out and referred me a speaking engagement or another client. The third and often very overlooked and very resisted way to increase sales and revenues in your business is to increase prices. Now, the reason I say this is resisted is because so often, especially in my world, where I'm working with a lot of women, especially with women coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, etc., is that we as women can sometimes struggle with raising our prices and charging what we're worth. But think of it this way. First, logically, when you are covering your expenses in your business, when your business is solvent, every dollar that you raise your prices is a dollar of profit, pure profit. So assuming that your costs stay the same and you can just raise your prices, every single dollar is an extra full dollar in your pocket. So it's worth asking the question, how can I raise my prices? One of the easy ways to do that is to create a premium offer for something you already do. So research shows that there's usually about 10 to 15% of your buyers that are willing to invest more for a more elevated experience. So think about who are those people that are always wanting the VIP treatment, the white glove service, the extra mile, right? And go ahead and break that out into its own VIP version of your service. And now you can capture that extra profit without letting go of what's going on down here. That's just one way to raise your prices and get more money in your pocket without actually having to make more sales. And then the last way that you can increase your sales, increase your revenues in your business, is to have more number of sales to the same person. So what that might look like is, for example, if you currently have a 3-month offering or a 6-month offering, extending that to a year or even 2 years. When I first started my current business model, my retreat to mastermind business model, I had it in my mind that I could only do 3-month and 6-month engagements. But I witnessed one of my coaches, one of my mentors that I invested in, and he was doing a 1-year program. And that's where I realized, well, I can offer a 1-year program. So boom, immediately some of my new contracts went from 3 and 6 months to a whole year. So I just doubled the number of sales or the number of times that I was going to collect from the client. And then once I completed my first year program, I had clients that wanted to keep working with me. So one of my mentors, Mark LeBlanc, actually said, why don't you do a 2-year program? My mind was blown. Like, I had never even thought of doing a 2-year program. That seemed out of the realm of possibility. But when I went back to my client, who I had a great relationship with, and I offered her that option for a discount, she took it. So I had my first client that was now going to be paying me for 24 months instead of 12 months, instead of 6 months, instead of 3 months. So think about ways that you can extend your engagements. You can increase the number of sales that you do to each client. If you found this interesting and you'd like to learn ways that you can grow your business, increase your sales, then consider joining one of my programs. I have several programs that work in a variety of different ways, virtually, online, in person. So why don't you set up a discovery call? Click the link below, go to superstardiscoverycall.com and book a time with me to explore how I can help you increase your business.